Hey loves, T with TarlaMakayev.com. Okay, I've tried this a few times. I'm coming back to you to share with you something revolutionary. Actually, research has been around for 25 years. Just 25 years of research on this. It's not very, not spoken about very much. And basically, it's how to use your heart to essentially strengthen your nervous system. Hey Marie, and so here, I'm going to get into this. So basically, as a lot of you know, I'm doing jerk neurofeedback for my brain. Basically help with anxiety and also depression, but mostly anxiety. There's also something called traditional neurofeedback, and they're working on the brain. But a lot of these places, they suggest that you use something that I'm going to talk about right now. So there's something called, it's from the HeartMath Institute, and it is essentially in what they call the Inner Balance app to create inner balance and harmony in your life. And I'm going to show you the device in a second. But let me just explain to you, I wrote notes because I was talking before and I don't think I was properly conveying what I was trying to get across. So this is about the psychophysiology of stress, emotions, and interactions between your heart and your brain. Okay, so when there's coherence in your heart, this is essential for stress management and sustainable behavior change. And what a lot of people don't know is that your heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain actually sends to your heart. We always think the brain controls the heart, but in essence, if you had to really say one or the other, it's really the heart that controls the brain, okay? So when they're having all these bad thoughts and stuff, it's coming from the emotions initially from your heart and sending a signal to the brain to have that same thought from the emotion, not vice versa. It's not that you think and then you feel and then you think. So there are different patterns of heart activity, which we call the emotional states, and they have a distinct effect on your cognitive and emotional function. So in stress, the heart rhythm pattern is erratic. So there will be lots of jagged edges up and down, kind of something that you might see in an EKG. I'm not saying an EKG where that's erratic, it's different. But you know those up and down lines that you see in it that are jagged? So typically when your pattern is erratic in this device, you'll see kind of jagged lines like that. But and what happens when the heart rhythm pattern is like that in a jagged is that your brain cannot think clearly, because remember, the heart is sending the signal to the brain. But when there's a stable pattern, which in this app shows smooth waves like that versus jagged, then that facilitates emotional stability and cognitive function. So again, the smooth, lines means that your heart's in coherence. So then your heart sending signals to the brain means that, again, that you have emotional stability. So there's something called heart rate variability. And it's basically the measure of your beat to beat changes in your heart rate. And so it's naturally occurring that we're going to have basically irregular and variation patterns in our heart rate. So it's not always going to be completely identical, and that's actually naturally occurring. So your heart rate variability is an important indicator of your health. And there's a physiological resilience and behavioral flexibility when you can adapt to stress. So again, heart rate variability is an important indicator of your health, and it's also a marker of biological aging, but I'm not going to get into that too much. So essentially, when you have anger, frustration, anxiety, those kind of negative emotions, right, your heart rate is variability is erratic. Again, those jagged lines that I spoke of. So they call that in this app, this HeartMath Institute, again, this is based on 25 years of research, they call that an incoherent rhythm pattern. So they call it low coherence. So they have low coherence, medium coherence, and high coherence. So your heart is in low coherence. I'm going to explain what happens when you use the app in a second. I'm just giving you background. So when you feel the feelings of appreciation, joy, care, love, gratitude, then your heart pattern is ordered, and so are the rhythms. So that creates optimal function for your brain, and that is when you're in high coherence. So essentially, you have an app. So the app is free, but you can't use it unless you have this device. This is the device. Again, it says Add Heart, but that's from the HeartMath Institute. You plug this into your iPhone or your phone, and on this end, this is to clip it to your clothes if you want, and this clips on your ear. That's how it is measuring your heartbeats. And again, it's plugging into your phone. And so you then see the app, and what you're doing for this exercise is you're breathing in. It's a colored wheel, and it's like a wheel that expands, and so you're breathing in, and it will contract, and so you're breathing out, okay? And then while that's happening, it's going around in a circle, these little dots, and the dots are green if you're in high coherence, and you'll see the patterns of your heart are smooth, and they are, I forget the color when it's medium coherence, I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna say that, but when you're in low coherence, then the dot turns red. So it's an indicator to you when you're using it, whether you're in high coherence or low coherence. And when the dot turns red, then the lines are also going to be jagged. So what the exercise is that they tell you to do is to focus on, again, those feelings of appreciation, joy, love, gratitude, positive emotions, and think of someone you love in your life, someone you appreciate and care for. So that could be your pet, that could be your family, that could be a friend, a spouse, whatever. So I, of course, focus on my 2 dogs, who I absolutely adore. And so while I'm focusing on, I'm so grateful to have them in my life, I love them, they're so amazing, I literally have had this happen. Now, this is crazy. So if you don't know me, I've gotten anxiety or panic attacks, actually, and have had some anxiety issues, which is why I'm doing neurofeedback. I've had chest pains from anxiety, which has brought me to the ER. And I'm laughing about that because it's so ridiculous, but it happens to a lot of other people, not just me. So when I've had chest pains and I've used this app, so chest pain is from anxiety, right? That's a negative emotion. So I'm feeling that in my heart, literal chest pains going to my brain, making me like crazy anxious, right? But when I use this app when I'm having that, and I've thought about gratitude for my dogs. I love my dogs. I think about how wonderful they are from the moment I got them, and they're just amazing, and the cute things they do. I've noticed that chest pain actually melts away. I'm not even kidding. The chest pain leaves slowly, but it leaves in just a few minutes because I've changed my emotions, which is then changing my thinking. Well, this is really powerful. They suggest that you use this. So here it is again. They suggest, this is about $129. I'm just guesstimating. I don't remember exactly. They suggest you use this twice a day for 5 minutes. Have I been doing that exactly? No. I've tried to. There's so many other things to do. But I've used it more in panic situations and then other times. So you're breathing, so it's biofeedback, but it's more than just a biofeedback breathing app because it measures your heart rate variability. And there are only like several, maybe 2 or 3 companies that do this, but they're the most well-known, HeartMath. So I would definitely check them out. So it comes in this little pouch. So it comes in a pouch like this. You can stick this in your purse. That's all you need. It connects to your cell phone. And then again, you just clip this little clip on your ear, so it can measure your heartbeat, and that's literally it. So, I had panic attacks in the freeway a couple times the last couple weeks because my mom's birthday's coming up, and it's always a difficult time for me. So I had this at home, but I was like, oh my God, I need a second one. So I just ordered a second one. So I'm gonna have one at home, but I'm always gonna have one in my purse. So if something like that happens, obviously you can't use that when you're driving, but I would be able to pull over in the side of the road. And it's just a helpful tool. Yeah, can you just go and breathe deeply? Yes, but you're actually not going to see if your heart's in coherence. There's no other way to do this. I'm going to review another product pretty soon in the next few weeks that has something to do with the heart, but it doesn't do what this does. The heart rate variability is a very special. A lot of things don't measure that. So if you feel like you've had these negative emotions and you're trying to figure out how to change them, a lot of people would go to try and meditate. Or they just, use a regular breathing app. I would definitely suggest that you try this. You can't probably just do this on your own, and not even probably, you can't do this on your own. Yeah, you can think positive feelings of gratitude, love, what I told you, but you won't actually be able to tell if it's helping your heart coherence. So I have real-time feedback when I'm doing this that, yeah, in fact, like even sometimes when you think like you're being successful with changing your emotions, it'll still have a red dot. On Facebook, I'm going to, in the comments, put a photo of what it looks like in the app from me, and I'll try to do the same if I can on YouTube. But essentially, every time I've done this, I've pretty much scored 95%. Like from the beginning, like I'm pretty in tune with my body once I actually stop and focus and feel. But I think days, if I'm remembering right, days that I was having this issue with the panic attacks and when my anxiety was extremely high, I think I was getting more like 75 or 80% coherence. So obviously perfect scenario is 100%, but I was always in like the 95%. So I'm able to do this pretty quickly. So it's really all about, as long as you're in tune with your emotions, you'll be able to make this work. And even if you're not, it's a good exercise to get there, which I was talking about with somebody today, that this is a great exercise to really get in touch with your emotions. It causes you to stop and reflect and feel those great emotions that we need to be feeling instead of the negative ones, the anger, the frustration, the fear, the sadness, all that, right? We want to get away from that, because feeling that then affects your mind. Then you start thinking those thoughts, and then it just wreaks havoc basically on your parasympathetic nervous system. So here, what we're trying to do is elicit that to our benefit, right? To help overall relaxation. So that's the point of this. I would never even have known about heart rate variability had it not been for these wonderful, neurofeedback practitioners. A couple of them had mentioned it to me, and a couple of them use it actively in their practice, and they have their patients, their clients go home and actively use it. So my neurofeedback practitioner, it's not something he actively uses with his patients, but he said I could do it. And I have found it really helpful. I need to start using it more regularly. I do multiple things with meditation, so it's like 2 hours of your day. So sometimes I have been skipping this, but I highly recommend it if you've had chest pains, if you've had anxiety, if you've had depression, if you had any kind of negative emotion, anger, fear, all the things that you can't get over. It's because you are feeling that constantly, and then it's turning into a thought. And if you want to feel different emotions and see actually in real time your heart change and your heart calm, it's actually very it's liberating, because you can see how much control that you can actually have over your thoughts when you change the pattern in your heart. And when I notice I'm in high coherence, I do notice like I feel more relaxed overall. That's the whole point. And my thoughts are changing, right? Because I'm feeling first, and I'm thinking also more positive thoughts. So in general, it's just to help with your general health. And like they said, your I think they called it your psychophysiology. And it's helpful to basically eliminate stress. So we all have stress. And if you want to manage your stress, if you want to have, as I call, sustainable behavioral change, if you use this regularly, it definitely helps. They also did tell me, because I've had an issue with high blood pressure, which I never used to have, caused, I'm sure, a lot by stress, that they have done a study. It didn't have a huge amount of people. I think it had 75 people or something in it. And it was shown to actually lower their blood pressure. So it's something very healthy for you to use, and to help just really change your overall state and demeanor. So if you're struggling with having negative thoughts, just thoughts alone, it's because you're feeling negative things. If you want to change the way you feel, try this Inner Balance app by HeartMath. Again, you have to get the actual HeartMath. It's called the Lightning sensor, the one I have. I think they have one with Bluetooth, but I chose to do just the hardwired one in case I can't connect to Bluetooth. So again, it is literally just this with the piece that you clip to your ear for your heartbeat, plugs into your iPhone. The technology is all in that little bar, and it'll just help you feel better overall. And I'm really into, if you haven't noticed already, helping my physical and mental health. So I wanted to share this with you, and I hope that you check it out if it's something that you feel like you need in your life, because why not? We all need to feel healthier, happier emotions so we can have happier, healthier thoughts. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.